Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Justin. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I want to give you guys another update on Ascent Solar Technologies. They came out with news about a week ago that I haven't talked about. And I know a lot of you follow me, subscribe to me because of Ascent Solar, the past videos I did, and connections that I have with Ascent Solar. Now, if you're new, this is the first video you've watched me, welcome. This channel is all about the stock market. And it's about you guys. If there are certain stocks, companies you want me to look into, do a deep dive analysis on, throw it down in the comment section. I read every single one of those. All right, so this is for entertainment purposes only. This is no recommendation to buy or sell a stock. So let's get right into this, guys. So Ascent Solar Technologies, if you're not too familiar with them, they manufacture solar panels. They're actually, I think, only one of two companies that manufacture thin film monolithic photovoltaic modules, and they use SIGS technology. So that's cadmium, indium, gallium, selenium. And what's unique about this company is that their solar panels are made on plastic substrate. You can roll them up, you can bend them, where a lot of other solar companies, they use like a glass substrate or a metal substrate. It's very heavy, it's cumbersome, it's not flexible. So there's a lot of advantages to Ascent Solar's technology. So let's go and take a look at their news that they came out with. All right, so this news came out on March 29th, so just over a week ago. And the company announced that they could receive a significant support as part of HR 133. This is a response, a release supplemental package basically to the whole RONI event that's happened. And it's basically to hopefully allocate some funding of the Department of Energy Research and Development section of Department of Energy, and hopefully flow down to companies that are in the renewable energy business, and particularly hopefully that goes to Ascent Solar. And this Congressman Ed Perlmutter, and let's go take a look at him. So this gentleman right here, so he's a congressman in Colorado. He actually lives in Thornton, Colorado. That's where Ascent Solar manufactures their solar panels. That's where their headquarters in. He's been a very big advocate for Ascent Solar. So he's actually contacted the government on a couple of different occasions on behalf of Ascent Solar, just trying to get some recognition to Ascent Solar and hopefully bring some funding to them just in general. And something I should really point out about Ascent Solar is that they've done a really good job over the years trying to get in connection with congressmen, trying to use them to hopefully bring recognition to the company. Right here you can actually see Corey Gardner. He was a senator for a long time in Colorado. This was a picture from a couple of years ago. You can see here, this is Kwong Lee. He's actually the CEO of Ascent Solar. This gentleman right here is Joe Armstrong. He's the Chief Technical Officer of Ascent Solar. In fact, when I worked at Ascent Solar for 5 years, I worked with Joe very, very closely, and actually thought about reaching out to him and maybe interviewing him about Ascent Solar and kind of what's going on. So if that's something you guys would enjoy, throw it down in the comment section, and if there's enough people out there that want me to contact him, I will reach out to him and see what I can do. So let's go back to that article real quick. And one thing to note here is that the Biden administration is committed to spending $128 million on renewable energy, which includes the solar cell. So there's potential hope maybe that some of that money can flow down to Ascent Solar. Not only that, but this article does say that Ascent Solar is collaborating with NREL, which create kind of a low-cost, high-efficiency cell. So that's some interesting news too. And of course, in the last couple of months, Ascent Solar has come out and talked about a NASA demonstration that they're supposed to be doing for a solar cruiser flight that's supposed to happen in 2022. So I don't know the dates on when that demonstration is supposed to happen, but last I heard it was supposed to be in May at some point. All right, so now let's go take a look at Ascent Solar stock price and kind of look at what's been happening over the last month and kind of my thought on that. All right, so here is Ascent Solar's chart right here. So over the last 3 months, they're up 400%. But if you look at the last month, they're actually down almost 20%. I've had a couple of people reach out to me recently and say, hey, why have there been so many red days? What's going on? Even though there's no news about the company, why is the stock going down? And I think that's the reason why. There just hasn't been a whole lot of information coming out in the last month about Ascent Solar that's gotten people excited. They're trying to get caught up with their SEC filings with the CFO they brought on, and kudos to him on that. But there just hasn't been a whole lot of information, and nothing's really changed with the company. I mean, the company is no different, really, from where it is now versus where it was 3 months ago. Now, I would make a strong case that, when the stock was back around less than 1 cent back in November, it's not necessarily the same company then it is now, right? They've hired new management. Tube Solar bought into the company. We're talking about these NASA demonstrations that are going on. So I think the company is changing in that respect. And let's take a look at another company, and let me just kind of support what I'm talking about right now. So I'm throwing up Titan Medical, ticker symbol TMDI. I did a full deep dive analysis on this company well over a month ago. I'll throw that down in the comment section if you want to go take a look at it. And it's actually pretty interesting on the medical device that they that they're coming out with, and they're partnering with Medtronic, which is a massive healthcare company. And if you take a look at their stock price, in the last 6 months, I mean, it's kind of like Ascent Solar in a lot of ways, and a lot of these other penny stocks. There was a big push up in January and February, and then there's a big drop off like we saw with Ascent Solar. But look at what happened with Titan Medical today. They were up 13%, and after hours last night, they were up 20%. Nothing has happened with this company. I mean, the only news they've come out with in the last month is about some kind of investor conference they're going to. There's nothing that's happened. The only thing that changed today, which pumped the stock up, is that Oppenheimer came out and said that they're going to outperform. So when the analysts basically talked about the company and kind of upped their expectations on TMDI. So because of that, people got excited and they jumped right back into the stock. So this is a perfect example of, even if it's an analyst coming out talking about the company talks about stuff that they're going on, you can see a short spike in the stock price just in general. And kind of my final thoughts about this whole thing, guys, and about the stock price is, Ascent Solar's got to do a really good job on the public relations piece of it, right? So they need to keep talking about themselves. Any kind of good information they need to keep coming out with. They need to get caught up with their SEC filings, which they're trying to do. Another thing that I'm surprised they really haven't done anything with is their Twitter account. So their Twitter account is 3.5 years old. They haven't done a single thing. They used to, be posting on here all the time. And, we're in a digital age right now. And a lot of times when I'm doing research on companies, what part of my research, I go right to the Twitter page and I can actually find more information or additional information on there. So, I'm sure they don't really have someone right now that can run this. And that's probably why they're not keeping up to date on it. But as they're building up and trying to get better into the limelight, trying to get their word out there again, I think this is something that they really need to do to communicate with the shareholders, communicate with the public, just in general. And I love to hear your guys' thoughts. I mean, what do you think about Ascent Solar? What else can they do to try to drum up more information, try to drum up, more news about the company? What else can they do to try to get people to look at them, watch them, and buy into them? So I love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys so much. I'll catch you guys on the other side. Take care, and God bless.